All right, so it's Monday morning. It's the start of a new week, and so I'm gonna basically go through and do some fresh technical analysis, kind of get a fresh look at the charts. This is something I like to do, not usually every week, but I like to do it at the start of the week if things have changed a lot and we are in a very different spot right now than we were last week. And I did wake up a little later than I wanted to, so I only got about 18 minutes until New York Open, so I'm going to try and be quick with this. So I'm pretty much just going to start off on, the slightly higher time frames. I'm going to mark out the, more macro range that we're in. I know the larger context, honestly, this whole area of price action right here is just kind of consolidation above, previous weekly resistance. So I'm pretty much going to go from this consolidation range here and down. So number one, I think I will just take a fixed range of this whole range right here, even though we did have a, manipulation phase or whatever you want to call this outside of it. I'll still consider this one whole range. And right now, we are around the value area low of the range. So that gives us some pretty good context off the bat. We are at the lows of the larger range. Also, I noticed that the point of control of this range lines up perfectly with this NDPOC I had marked out. So that is very interesting to know. And, next I guess I'll pull out some fibs. We're already below the 786, so I'm not going to leave that on there. We can pull fibs from the upside to the downside, and pretty much all these fib levels are coming in around the highs of the range, which is interesting to notice. The 382 is pretty much aligning with the value area high. All of these are above the value area. All right, so now let's go ahead and mark out some levels starting on the weekly time frame. So we do have an untapped weekly up here. That's something I would mark out. And now the weekly open is right there. And another thing to point out is this weekly candle right here, because, you might call that a weekly engulfing candle. We had a few weeks of upwards price action here, and then that was, wiped out in one weekly candle. So, that's probably pretty bearish. And I can check the daily time frame, see if there's anything worth marking out. I'm not going to mark out all the daily levels in here because that just ends up, leaving my chart pretty crowded. And, a lot of times it's not necessary if there's a daily level that, I think might be significant. For example, you can say this one because we basically showed it no respect. We formed an untapped daily level here and then just dropped straight through it. So maybe it will act as resistance rather than being support. And it is around the golden pocket. I like its placement. And if we, get a move a little bit lower, it could line up pretty perfectly with that golden pocket. So I'll have that marked out. And you could mark out this daily down here. It is at the lows of the range. That could be significant. Maybe this one back here as well. But, in general, I think I'll just leave the one in the middle of them open. I know that we got some daily levels down here. I'm not going to crowd up my chart too much with those. I don't see any untapped weeklies that I have to mark out. This was one back here, but we just tapped that recently. And there is an untapped daily up by this untapped weekly. So, I'll have that marked out. Why not? And okay, now I think I'm just going to go into the more local stuff. There's more levels I could mark out on the higher term, but I'll just leave it at that right now. That gives us, decent context already, just having the larger range levels in mind. So what do we have going on locally? Well, we had a range and then a downtrend, and now seemingly another range down here. So I think the most important thing to begin looking at locally is this range that we're forming. And it is interesting, we're forming a range in between two NDPOCs here. We have one above us from back here, and we have an NDPOC from right here, I believe. Yeah, that's the only spot it could be. So let's actually go ahead and see if there's any other NDPOCs that we're missing. So there's that one I was talking about. I must have marked it down on a different time frame, but whatever, we'll leave it where it is. Yeah, we did leave some more NDPOCs above us that I have not marked out yet, so, we'll just have those, we'll have those marked out in case we see a move to the upside. And I also want to go through and mark out the previous day levels, so let me actually turn off. Where did this fixed range go? Dog, I don't know how all my fixed ranges end up moving down here. I don't know how. You saw me just mark this out and it gets moved to the bottom. I don't know. That's kind of annoying, but anyway, let's go through and mark out yesterday's levels. The value area high, value area low, and point of control. Right around here, there's the value area high. There's the point of control and the value area low. So locally, we can look at those for some potential scalp levels. Like I said, I've been testing out the previous day levels, and they have been working out pretty well, I don't remember when it was. Now I can't remember. We rejected perfectly to the dollar off a PD value area low and then dumped from there. Maybe it was right here. There's kind of an example of it. I don't know. I can't remember right now, but yeah, I have been testing these out, and they have been, they have shown to be pretty reactive. I do prefer to find some confluence around them. For example, we got the weekly open right around this one, so that's somewhat interesting. And we also have the point of control of this local range right around the previous day POC. Makes sense. The value area high of this range is around the PD value area high, so not getting much from that anyway. It's pretty much the same as the volume levels. We can pull a fib here locally, and the golden pocket's coming in right around the value area high, so that is some good confluence there. I usually would have preferred if I cleaned up my chart ahead of time as well, but I just kind of woke up and started doing this. But we got a few areas that we can mark out off the bat. I guess I would say that this zone between the golden pocket 786 and the value area low is of interest to me. Up here, GP, VAH. So yeah, very locally, those are the zones I'd probably be watching. And, we can just put some little scalp ideas there. Maybe say invalidation below the 786. It really depends on, obviously what I see at that level. So I'm only going to be taking this if the confirmations are there. And if that's the case, then I'll probably just put the stop loss down below the low, wherever it ends up being. But there's one idea there and another idea here. I would also definitely watch this high up here, potential SFP into that NDPOC. That's a trade I've been waiting for. And maybe target the value area high for first TP. And I would also definitely be watching this low down here, a potential SFP into that NDPOC below us. It is a bit deeper of an SFP. It's about 0.5%, so maybe it's more unlikely that we get a move all the way down here and then come back up and close above this low, but it is still a possibility, and this is still a level I definitely want to be aware of. And yeah, very locally, these are probably the trade ideas I'm looking at. Maybe moving this guy all the way up there will stop my fixed ranges from floating away from me. But yeah, locally, those are pretty much the levels I'm looking at. We can go through and mark out some, higher term trading plans. But I might do that after we kind of see what's going on with New York Open here. So I would definitely want to put an alert down at that golden pocket. And I definitely want to put an alert up here. And let's just quickly run through Market Cipher. Kind of get a feel for what we're dealing with. And, daily showing potential of bottoming out here. It's not super clear yet. This could, keep going to the downside very easily if price keeps, gets another move to the downside. But it is showing the beginnings of us turning around, this momentum wave. If we really zoom in here, it is starting to clip off. It's starting to get a little bit thinner, not a whole lot, but it is starting to get a little bit thinner. And the money flow has locally made a higher low and is starting to curve to the upside right here. Not very strongly, but it is. 12-hour kind of showing weakness here with this move to the upside. The VWAP is curving back over, not looking super great on the 12-hour. 4-hour money flows getting deeper in the red, not looking great on the 4-hour. 1 hour actually looks pretty good though. Yeah, 1 hour looks pretty good. This is some nice curvature in the red. Very aggressive increase towards the end here, and we're now continuing to put in higher highs in the green. Locally, that is, not compared to back here, but also you see very good curvature with momentum. This 1 hour is actually looking pretty good. But 24-minute, at least locally, looks like we got some more downside. We just printed a red dot here. The VWAP curved down, money flows curving down a little bit. But overall, you still see that direction. Still see that good curvature there. A nice little smiley face. Because, we're always happy when price increases. So, yeah, really what I got from that is, pretty indecisive on the higher time frames. But some of the lower time frames are starting to show signs of a bottom. Maybe it's just a local bottom. Maybe we just kind of come up to put in a lower high somewhere. But still, the lower time frames are looking a little bit bullish. And price is now pumping. So, yeah, if we come up, I would watch an SFP of this high. Even if we don't come up into this key level that I was watching, if we just SFP this high, a lot of times when you get aggressive moves during the session opens, a lot of times it ends up being a liquidity grab. And we do definitely have potential for divergences right here. The 3-minute money flow is getting lower. Momentum has come down a lot from when we put in that high. We could easily form divergences there. So if we see that as we take out this high with a large decrease of open interest, then that may be enough to convince me that this is a liquidity grab. And another thing that I think may be a possibility, let me go ahead and turn off these fib levels because they're crowding me. We could SFP now this low. Yeah, it is possible. Sometimes we'll come down right during New York Open, form a low, get a move up, and then run that liquidity later. Even if we don't get a move down into that level, we could look for a little scalp off of that low. So I have to go do something very quickly. I'm going to end the recording, and if one of these levels are hit, then I will hop back on here. Okay, so we did get a move up into this first box of resistance I was looking at, and I think I'm tripping. I guess I'm going to find out if I'm tripping when I go back and edit this video, but was this value area high not in this box when I marked it out? And now no matter how I adjust it, I can't get it to line back up there. Could have sworn it was right next to the PD value area high. That's what I said, right? I said it's lining up right with the PD value area high. Now it is not. Based on this value area, we still have not got to move up to the value area high, which does give me less confidence in my short right here, for sure. And we are pumping back up right now, so it looks like I might get stopped out. But we did get a move up into that zone I was watching. We did see the divergences I was looking for, money flow and momentum on the 3-minute, putting in lower highs. The 6-minute is not putting in lower highs with the money flow. The money flow on the 6-minute is increasing. The 1-minute money flow is turning to the upside. So honestly, it's not looking super great for my short. It's really only the 3-minute that's agreeing with me. But we did see a pretty large decrease of open interest on this move to the upside right there. And we did see a lot of shorts open up in this area, which it looks like some of those are getting stopped out now. So I'm willing to hold this trade. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. I got my invalidation. I think I got my invalidation above this 0.65. Yeah, right now I'm just really hoping that we can move to the downside and lose this point of control. But yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to do that. It looks like that trade's getting stopped out. So on to the next idea, which, maybe would be the value area high now. This is a key support resistance area. getting a call from a scammer. That's great. So we had support, bunch of resistance. So yeah, that value area high is actually looking like a decent level. And maybe our trade idea is we want to see a reaction off the value area high with invalidation above the 786. So if we dump from here, great. If not, we got another trade idea above us. So right now, I mean, ideally, let's lose the point of control. Let's start falling down below there. And then we still got the VWAP to deal with, but I would feel a lot better about this if we started to lose the point of control right now. And again, if not, we've got trade ideas elsewhere. So right now, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. I think that's right around where my TP1 is. In fact, I might move it up a little bit because I think my TP1's a little bit lower. I would like to TP around the PD value area low. So that's probably my current trade idea. So those are pretty much my trade ideas for the day. I might go through in a separate video and kind of finish up what I was doing on the higher time frames because this video kind of went a different direction than I intended. I was just going to make this like a weekly, Monday morning TA video, but it kind of turned into a New York scalping video, which, it's fine. We did the TA on the price action that's relevant right now inside this local range. If we start getting moves outside of this range, then we can focus more on the levels outside of it. But for right now, I think I'm going to end this video here, begin editing, and continue watching these charts. And maybe I end up making a update. Maybe I take some more trades. Maybe I don't. Okay, so that trade ended up playing out pretty nicely there. Good thing I did not get stopped out here. I set my stop a little bit above that 0.65. That ended up playing in my favor pretty nicely. So I hit my TP1 at the PD VAL. I took more profits down at this wick and this golden pocket, which moved up a little bit because we put in a new high. Now we're at the value area low, and I have to make a decision on, number one, am I going to TP more, and am I going to long? Now, I'm not seeing much to, give me confidence in a long right now. In fact, it looks like we might come down for these lows, so that looks like a logical spot for the next TP. Let's check Coinalyze. We see a lot of people shorting the lows right here. That is very interesting. Really showing absorption because open interest has come down a lot since we made these lows back here. And if we're looking for price to be making a higher low with absorption, at least from this low, that does not seem possible. And from back here, CVD has come up a lot. We do not have a lower low in CVD. And even from back here, open interest is still technically lower. So not seeing any longer term absorption. However, if people are shorting this low very locally, then we may see some local absorption here. If we do something like that, come up, put in a higher low, maybe we see CVD continue to come down, open interest continue to move up, and maybe we can look for a golden pocket retracement there. Boom, pull out the ugly fib, and yeah, maybe look for something like that. I don't want to just FOMO into a trade because we're at a level. And really right now, I mean, the 12-minute money flow is looking decent. Right now it's kind of curving over, but overall it's increasing. And with the context of the 6-minute, that is continuing to put in higher highs in the green. We have a divergence in momentum here, but the money flow is looking pretty good. And, you could say that divergence in momentum already played out. We got to move down to the value area low. The only thing that's not giving me confidence in this right now is the money flow putting in lower lows in the red on the 3-minute to the 1-minute. So, like I said, if we see a retest with absorption here, then, that is pretty much the confirmations I'm looking for right now. other than that, I have a winning position here already. I've got profits locked in. I think my stop loss, well, I actually can move that down because we put in a new low. Yeah, the 786 is probably right around my entry now, so that is going to be my invalidation. I definitely do not want to take low confidence trades because I do not want to give back the profits that I just locked in. Already off the bat, it's Monday, and it's already been a profitable day for me. Starting the week off right, that's what I like to do. And I would really prefer not to give those profits back to the market. I don't like looking at 1 minute structure, especially not, wacky structure like that where it's literally just, the low is put in and then 2 candles later we got, what you can kind of call a high. I'm not paying attention to that. But we could be forming some market structure here if we put in a lower low. Then we can look at that as a market structure break and maybe then look for a retest to begin an uptrend. But other than that, thank you all for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I really appreciate it. If you were considering buying Market Cipher and you also want to simultaneously support the channel, I do now have a referral link in the description of my videos. And again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.